Hello, today we're here at Metalworks Studio and we're doing a bit of a breakdown of the song Longest Way Around. What we're going to do today is just basically kind of give you a bit of insight behind the scenes of kind of how the song comes together in terms of the arrangement, how the different instruments work together, and kind of how we get certain sounds mixing different kinds of instruments. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to start with this song. Kind of show you sometimes we try different ideas, we don't always use them. At the beginning of this song, originally what I wanted to use, it starts with a bit of a trumpet solo, and originally I wanted to use a flugel instead, so that was my idea, kind of the sound I heard in my head, which a flugel is very similar to a trumpet. It plays the same way. It just has a bigger bell and it has a different sound. So we'll kind of show you the difference, because in some of these other videos I've talked about flugelhorns, but we'll kind of break down to really what it sounds like even just on its own. So if we can just isolate that part, just the flugel. So a very breathy, very open sound. But what we were finding when we played it, that with the different instruments and the kind of the contrast of it, we need something that cut through just a little bit more. So we decided to go with the trumpet, which if we can play the trumpet, you'll hear the difference here. So again, same notes, just kind of cuts through a little bit more. And it was helpful when we have these, it's in a lower register for the instrument as well. So it's getting closer to the same frequency level or the same area note-wise as the guitar, as well as the piano. So sometimes you just kind of switch up your instruments as you go. And that's what's kind of nice being in the studio. Sometimes you can hear it right away as soon as it's played. And luckily, a lot of the trumpet players that we have also have flugelhorns, so they usually bring both. So that was kind of an easy one to kind of swap out. But sometimes that's it. And again, same notes, just two different instruments, and kind of give two different textures and tones. So the next thing we'll do, I think we'll kind of really break down kind of the orchestration part of this song. So it's primarily kind of just your rhythm section, guitar, bass, drums, piano, vocals. But what I kind of want to focus on is kind of the really big part. So it kind of leads into this big, again, orchestrated kind of section, which is what I kind of wanted there, to really build up into this big section. So what we'll do is we'll kind of just break down each part and then gradually add them in, so you can really just kind of hear how a section, we're having this many instruments, kind of builds and kind of complements each other. So maybe if we can go to that soli section, and we'll start with the strings. So the strings, we have two violins, viola, and two cellos. And in this section, this is kind of the main part. This is what we call the main theme, I think. This is the part that you hear the most of as it goes through. So this is kind of what it sounds on its own, and then we'll start layering in the other parts as they build. So again, yeah, just the string section here. So we'll give it a listen. Very classical sounding, very counterpoint, very Bach style writing. This was the intent. So that's kind of the main part. If you hear the song, that's the part that's kind of stands out. That's your main melody that we have. Now, we also had a brass section that we had to help support this underneath. Again, this is where we're using our flugelhorns. We're using a trombone, and we're using a bass trombone as well too. Again, to kind of get this, the hope is kind of to use kind of French horns, but again, we didn't have access to people who play French horns, so this was our way of kind of building it out and again, kind of getting that orchestration. So maybe if we could hear the brass just on its own, same section. So we have this very Beatles kind of trumpet part happening here. So again, now if we kind of add all those parts together, you'll hear where they kind of line up and they complement each other while staying out of the way of the main melody. So if we can hear back that. Now the trombones and the cellos are doubling each other, so they're emphasize that low range. So again, call and response, and then going through. All right, and then now the last element that we have going in here is backing vocals. So what I want to do with this, they're doing a lot of oohs and ahs to kind of help build a little more intensity. And I also wanted that where there's like kind of a human element to it. So it's almost like creating this pulse, this kind of living thing that's kind of emphasizing it. So if we listen just to the backing vocals of that same part. Great vibrato. Ah is always more intense to me, so that's why I put it in there, as you know, over an ooh. So ooh starts it, it gets more intense with the ah, comes back down with the oohs. Okay. Okay, great. So now let's put them all together, and you hear even without the rhythm section how big of a sound you can kind of get. So here, we're looking at two backing vocals, 5 strings, and 4 horns. So you look, what, 11, I think, if my math's right? That's 11 instruments kind of creating this sound without even using the rhythm section. So again, kind of carries itself on its own. Again, using kind of like the full register, the strings and the horns, kind of, or the violins and the horns, I guess. Trumpets are in the higher register. You have your trombones and your cellos in the low register, and then your viola and your kind of trumpets, or even I think we might even have flugel in there. That's kind of in the middle. To kind of space it out. So like if you have everything, if you think of a piano, if you have everything in the middle of the piano, it's going to get very muddy. But if you spread out the sections, then it really opens up the sound, because you're also incorporating now your rhythm section into that as well. So I think the last thing we'll do is we'll kind of just, there's only a few parts that we use for that, but we'll see how they all work together in the next section here. So we'll just kind of play them all together. And the ahs just seem more intense. And there we go. And that just kind of helps. So again, this is a way we just kind of like bring in more emotion and kind of use all these instruments to kind of lift up the songs and really give this huge kind of wall of sound. But and when they're all put together and you're using great musicians and the arrangement all sits in the right way and everything stays out of the way of each other, you can kind of create these kind of really cool sounds. So yeah, so that's kind of a basic breakdown of the song Longest Way Around and kind of how we put it together. So again, hope you enjoy.